Okay.
So, um, my beloved sisters were trying to, my spirit sisters were trying to, have wanted to be talking about um, people that are really working hard to either achieve something, if they're looking at it as achievement, or to heal or spiritually study and learn something. People are different with their goals. Um, but in many ways, it's all still manifestation. They're just looking, some people are looking to manifest like a $30,000 vacation, and other people are looking to manifest like spiritual gifts and healing. Just everybody's different, and they have very important reasons in their own lives um, to do that kind of stuff anyway. And so, sorry, hold on one second, I got distracted. So Mirthy especially was like, it matters not, it matters not. Um, it's important to them. It is their driving force. For whatever reason, they are fixated, and it is part of their path to get them to the next thing, right? Like you've got to get to the next thing, and the next thing. You can't, like, for if you want to win the lottery, you can't like go from sitting at home one day to winning the lottery in one step, right? You got to go from sitting there one day to winning suddenly a free Starbucks gift card and living in the joyful experience of that, and enjoying it and talking about it as if it is the lottery. And then you go from the Starbucks gift card to winning some sort of writing contest where you submitted a jingle or something, right? That's worth more money. And then you live in the joy of that just turning up into your life out of the blue. And then you begin to enjoy the fact that it's a surprise rather than worrying about how things are going to come to you. You start to figure out, when I don't fixate on, well, I'm going to get a bunch of money and it's going to come from this place and this is how it will come to me, right? Because that's none of our business, actually. Our business
Right.
is saying, this is what I want, or this is what I need, or this is what I'm working on. And their job, because we're collaborators, is to say, okay, we'll make that happen. And just as they're not supposed to say to us, really, you want that? Ugh, why? They don't say that to us. They don't interfere. We're not supposed to say to them, how, but how, but how, but how is it going to happen? They're like, wait a second. You're in your part of school where you figure out your wants and desires, needs, and healings, and you're allowed to do that, and we don't interfere. But when we are studying how to turn your, desires into, first of all, an energetic response to your desires so you can experience the joy of that, because that's really the main thing, is the feeling, because you can't take any much of things with you. But still, the point is to allow us to first create it for you energetically so that you can enjoy it and revel in it, and then allow us to create it for you in a more material way, and increasing, because we're learning too. And you're constantly interfering with our job. And also, when you ask questions, it changes our job. So you might say, I like, for example, I would like a car. We go, gotcha. And we start working on a car. And then you start fretting, but where's the car going to come from? And maybe the car should come from here. And maybe the car should. And every time you change your order, we have to stop and start over. So you said, I want a car. We said, gotcha. We started working on a car. And then you said, well, but maybe the car won't come. And we go, gotcha. You don't want the car to come. And then you go, well, maybe the car is going
Right.
to come from Ray's Auto Body. We go, oh, okay, guys, she's reordered the car. She's decided it's
We
going to
sound
come,
we sound like bad bosses, you know,
right? And now they
constantly
want
micromanaging and
Ray's Auto
fixating
Body.
on process.
Well, because we're taught like that there's no one here to help us, and that we've got to pull
Yeah.
ourselves up by our bootstraps. And
Yeah.
there are certain ways in which that's true, right? Like, it's not, manifesting isn't like, I mean, it eventually, ideally, it is like just living, existing, right? But especially with all we are taught through so many generations and other lives we've lived, etc., especially on Earth, we're taught that, you can't get something out of nothing, and that you're the only one that's going to do it for you, and, that inspiration and perspiration, like that's everything we're taught from the very beginning. And to work for it. Now, they're never saying don't work for it, but they're saying learn how to be a true manifester and then stay out of the way. And staying out of the way is harder than any other thing we would have to figure out here. How am I going to raise $30,000 for this? That's way easier than truly learning how to stay the hell out of your own way and to trust that they're working on it, right? It's a blind faith thing. And so it's much easier to fret about how things are going to get done and what job you need to get in order to make that happen and blah 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 than it is to say, okay, I've asked for it, I trust you guys, free fall. Like, that's way scarier for
Yes.
most of us because of how we're trained. And we also are taught that if we're not working on it, even though sometimes we're working very hard to learn about manifestation and about staying out of our own way. And if we can't stay happy about something, to stay neutral or completely ignore it, right? In order to stay out of our own way. That's a lot of wrestling with yourself you have to do. But people look at you and go, oh, you're not doing anything. That's interesting. It's like, no, that's not true. I'm just working on a different tenet of understanding than you are because we're living different lives and we're supposed to. We're supposed to. You're in a different phase than I am. And none of them are better. They're just all different. And so, respectfully, I won't call you a money grubbing, you know, workaholic if you won't call me a lazy whatever because you can't see what it is I'm focused on. But that's just between humans, right? Between us and spirit. They're just like, stop changing your freaking order. Like, seriously, because then you go, okay, but now I hear there's a sale at CarMax. Okay, so Ray's Auto Body's out, CarMax. And so then they're like, she still wants the car, but Ray's Auto Body, and it's a new order every time. And they're like, look, when it's something exact, like if you're changing something for specificity's sake, right? Where you're not telling us how to do it, like go to Ray's, go to CarMax. Because when you say go to CarMax, we go to CarMax, but if what you want's not there, you don't get it because we're doing exactly as we're supposed to. Looking
Yes.
for a car at CarMax. It's not lining up because that CarMax can't have that car for whatever reason. So we are at a dead end, right? Whereas if you just said, I want a car. Now they're saying when it's specific though, like if you're like, nope, here's the car I want, right? It needs to, like, and they're like, probably brand names. That's not the most important thing either, right? But you can be specific in the sense that it's like, I'd prefer it be an SUV because sitting down in cars is hard for me with some of my bone issues, right? And I'd like to be able to step up into it. I would love it if it could seat at least 6 people comfortably and maybe have one seat that removes for a wheelchair buddy or a wheelchair family member or whatever it is, right? They want you to get specific, right? And if it could have a great guidance system because I'm always getting lost, or golly, if it could have great sound system because music makes me just so happy, whatever it is that
Yeah.
that generate positive energy for you, add that. But they're saying the best thing you ever can do is to really, really, really fine tune what you want before you ask for it. And then
Yeah.
say, pardon me, I would like something kind of like a Subaru that has these elements, and I need it for this reason and this reason, to fulfill the needs of my child that has this need, and my husband has this need, and he has this need. And my gosh, if it could be orange, would I be happy? And then leave it alone after that, right?
Yeah. It's something my old man used to talk about. He said, imagine it so clearly that you could taste it and then completely forget about it, let it go.
Yeah. Now, I mean, here's the thing about manifestation, though. Yes, that is totally advisable. Is the completely forget about it, let it go thing, unless you're an extremely advanced, right? And
Right.
then they say revel in it, pretend you already have it, drive that
Right.
car everywhere in your mind,
Yeah,
wake up
that's what
every
he means
morning.
when he says, feel it so that that you actually taste it. It's as if
You
you
already have
already
it.
have it. You're experiencing it,
Yeah,
and
dream about driving the car, write about it, write notes to
and
yourself that
live
most
in
people,
that expectation,
yeah, will live
without
in that
trying to
reality.
dictate. Yeah, without trying to dictate how it's going to happen.
Right. Like
Yeah.
if
So
you're playing imagination games to help yourself manifest, it's perfectly fine to be like, I took a long drive in the new car today, The
right.
world's so beautiful through those windows. We listened to the music and the wind blew through our hair and it was amazing, right? That's great. Saying things like um saying things like, thank God Todd gave us the $30,000 for that car and the loan is only this much. you know, and we got it from XYZ place, that's no, that part's not your business. But, and so that's why if you can't stay out of that, if you can't overthink, if you can't stop or stay away from overthinking it,
Yeah.
forgetting about it completely is the next best choice. But
Yeah.
if you can manage just to literally wake up every day and go, oh, my imaginary car's in the driveway, and I know no one else can see it, but when I look out the window, I can see it in the driveway, and it's so pretty.
Yeah. So
And
you focus on outputs and leave process alone.
yeah, because that's not that's we're the front
That's
end
not your
right now.
business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're interfering with their learning too. It's not just them
Right.
trying to baby us. We're interfering with their learning when we do that.
I
To
mean,
this
I've
point,
had
we're
bosses
interfering
that
with
did
our
that
home.
to me, and it wasn't fun. You know, they
Yeah,
change their mind every day, and they try to micromanage your process and get in the way your creativity.
and
Yeah,
it slows you down, doesn't it? By a
it
lot.
does,
It changes those due dates. It moves them back and back and back and back. It
and it
makes you more
changes what could be
stressful.
a joyful job into
That's right.
something that's just stressful.
That's right.
And yeah,
And they're fretting too. They're fretting about when they're going to get it, when they're going to receive it, if it's going to come, you know. And then they get into all this other stuff. It brings in other worries that don't even have to do with that. Like it's just like, no, just leave it alone if you can't. If you can't stay happy about it, if you can't revel in your imaginary whatever it is, then just do your damnedest to stay out of it. And that's where the jail comes in,
yeah,
because what they're suggesting, right? My Pantheon's in on it, but these are my spirit sisters that are primarily talking about it. They're saying we need to get a shoebox. Everybody needs to get a shoebox. And they need to cut just little panels, just tiny panels out of it, like almost like little strips out of the shoebox. You could use an X-Acto knife or whatever. If you can't do it exactly right, then they advise you cut a square in the box, like 2.5 or 3 inches by 2.5 or 3 inches. And then that you take the piece that you cut out, cut it into little strips, and glue a couple of the strips back in, if that's easier. Because basically, you want to make this box, and on the lid you want to have basically a little thing that looks like a little jail cell, like it looks like little bars that you can pass something through. And so they're saying if you're working on something, whether it's specifically like you're thinking of it as manifesting, or working on improving something about yourself, or working on improving something about someone else, if that's your business, and you feel like it is, whatever it is, um, or trying to gain something, a partner, a job, um, an object, an experience. And so their advice is if you if it's the thing that you're fixated on the most, and you can't stay positive about it. So if you're like, okay, here, we'll talk about the car again. Like, I want that car. Man, the car's not coming, the car's not coming. The first time you hear yourself say something negative about that thing that you're really working hard to have or that you desire so strongly, again, whether it's a trait or a thing or an experience or whatever, the first time you hear it, you write it down on a piece of paper. You say, like, something like, um, trying too hard to manifest this, going to jail, right? Write that on a piece of paper, you fold it up, you put it in the box. Now, for 24 hours, anytime you think of that subject, you have to go, nope, it's in jail. I'm not allowed to converse with it. It's only, you can't even call someone that's in jail until they've been in jail for 24 hours. Okay, so I can't even talk about it because it's in jail, because I'm doing my best to stay away from it, right? So I am forbidden from thinking that. And since I can't put my whole brain or my person in jail, I'm putting that line of thinking. And they don't just mean the line of negative thinking about the issue. They just mean the whole issue itself. If it's, want to get a car, you would just write messing up on wanting to get a car, putting the concept in jail, fold it up and you put it in there. And anytime you think car, you go, oh, car's in jail, I can't even think about it. And you move on. You move on. And if in the first 24 hours you can't, you find yourself fixating, right? If you're being honest with yourself and you write another note, right? And you have to put it in there in the first 24 hours. Now there's 2 notes in there about the car. Now they're saying, you got to wait like 36 hours from the point of the last note you put in there, because you need more space from it. Very clearly, you need more space. Now, if in that first 24 hours you once or go, oh no, I'm not supposed to be working about that. I'll do anything else to distract myself, right? I will go eat something wonderful. I'll watch something funny on television. I will focus on a different project at work. I will freaking play with my stones. I will masturbate. I will smoke a joint, whatever it is, right? Like that will take you completely and move you into a different energy. Do it. Get out of that energy. And if you've managed to do that for that 24 hours, then you get to roll the dice. And you'll set a deal with your angels and you'll say, angels, or if you don't want dice, if you don't like dice, you can do like playing cards, right? Whatever it is. So you could say, angels, if I pull a red card, I'm allowed to pull that out of jail now and work on it. If I pull a black card, it has to stay in jail tomorrow, and I'll come back tomorrow and pull cards again, right? Or angels, if I roll an odd number, I get to pull that out of jail. And I get to think about it and plan and enjoy it and just try to work on it in a different way, right? To just revel in the thought of it. And depending on your answer, you can either take it out of jail and start to work on it in a positive way, in an enjoyable way. If it's not fun, if it doesn't feel like playful, like vroom vroom, I'm in my new car, like if you feel absolutely like a childish, ridiculous moron, then you're doing it right. Is basically based on how we're trained and taught. If you feel like a moron when you're engaging with the energy of what you want, you're doing it right. If you feel like you're being practical and sensible, forceful, and getting things done, you're probably going to need to put the experience in the jail for a while, because you're needing to just stay in the joy of it. And so as soon as you bring it out of jail, if you want to engage with it, as long as it's playfully and happily and like in make-believe land, do that. But the minute things get intense again, you've got to write it down. You got to put it back in jail.
You could have repeat offenders.
Oh yeah, you can repeat offend. And like I'm saying, like, if you do your best in 24 hours to, stay out of it, or if you just can't and you wind up writing another note, well then, you're the sentence extends, first of all. Now, if in 3 days you've done a good job, and every day you're just rolling dice or throwing cards, and it says no. By the third, if you hit the third day and you don't get the right card, they're saying you can pull it out anyway and give it a try because you've had enough space. Um, but this is cyclical, and it's probably for more than one issue, right? Um, if um, that's my train of thought. Either way, that's their concept. I think everybody needs a jail box, and they need to put those thoughts in there. And if they're working collaboratively with people in their home, and everybody's on board and being playful about it, and you catch a partner overthinking something, you can write it down and put it in jail too. Be like, I'm arresting this thought. This thought is going to jail. Sir, you are thinking in criminally on this topic. It will not serve you. It is a crime. It is a crime against yourself. It is a crime against manifestation. We're taking it off to jail, sir.
So we're making a citizen's arrest.
Right. We can't, you guys are in a toxic relationship. We have to separate you and the thought. The thought's going to spend the night in jail. You need to stay away from that jailhouse tonight, man. And so anyway, so then again, you roll dice or you pull cards and, just say, hey, if it's okay, if you guys think it's ready, I'm ready to try again. Let's do pull red, or you just establish what it is for yourself, what means yes, what means no, or whatever, and pull it out of jail. And they're saying it doesn't matter either way. If you wind up with 100 things in jail, but you're managing it one at a time, you're managing those things, you're going to be much happier, like in day to day anyway, because a lot of your mind clutter will be gone. It'll help. And if it doesn't eliminate all of it, it will eliminate some of it.
Yeah.
It just will, because you'll be reminded, oh, it's in the box. I can't say that. It's in the box. And if you live communally, there'll be plenty of people in your life that go, Wayne, isn't that an in the box issue? Isn't that whole winning the lottery thing in prison right now? You cannot have a conjugal visit with it. You cannot until it gets out of jail. Then you guys can do whoop-de-doo, as long as you guys don't sit down and try to make a business plan.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what they wanted to talk about. They wanted to talk about the jail box today, because they were feeling like there are a lot of people that could be reached, that they've already encountered through me, or that they're observing, that could utilize these things. Even if it comes down to like a way you want to talk to people or don't want to talk to people. Like, I want to manifest that I am more nosy. Like, I don't ask enough about others, right? So, it can be something like that. But deciding how it happens, and just writing everybody a random letter asking them 1,000 questions, that's weird, right? But intentionally getting to know someone when they're around, not weird, right? So it can be, or, if it's quite the opposite, and whichever way the interest goes, whichever way, like whoever talks about themselves more, if you're trying to achieve balance, or understanding or whatever, you can use it for that as well. Doesn't have to be a card. It can be a concept or a feeling, or just whatever you're hoping to change to better your life and your manifestation, and to bring things to you faster, and to learn to stay out of your own way. Because it sucks to have to visit the thing you want to manifest most in Sing Sing only on Saturdays. Get all dressed up and be like, hi, it's my Saturday visit. I thought you were going to roll the dice this week, baby. Well, I did roll the dice, but it said no, hon. It said no. I was I was too busy trying to break you out of here to think about what I should really be worrying about, which is writing you a love letter about why you're so fantastic. You can be in jail and I can write you a love letter.
It's true.
Or thinking about an outfit I'm going to buy you, car or person or concept. All of the pleasurable things, I'm allowed to do those. It's just I've been trained that those are the lazy things and those are a waste of my time. And it's the opposite. It's opposite. That doesn't mean don't get a good education. That doesn't mean don't work towards the things you love, but love your work. Love it, like that's been said for a million years. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And that's to a certain degree true. Because if you just follow the flow of listening to either doing like what you love or listening to who you love, in my case, like, my Pantheon, listening to who I love and following that trail, there's still something I'm focused on working on and I'm active in it and I really want it to make it happen. But it just doesn't look like the same structured way that some people would want to address things.
Right. It doesn't look like the factory floor.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So anyway, they would like everybody to start a manifestation jailhouse in their box. And in fact, they were like, wouldn't it be so fun if, people did that and then you were like, okay, on Monday, everybody bring their manifestation box and we're going to open up the jail and you read to us what's in jail for you this week. So that people can just commiserate and understand that they're not the only one with a shit ton of things in jail. And maybe even people can maybe not offer advice, but just offer pleasantries. Like, you got a car in jail, that car would look so awesome, like with purple floor mats. I'm just saying, right? Just offer a pleasant thought about their jailbird. So yeah, they're hoping that helps. They have another place where they want to put success stories as well. Like, they don't want to just count your mistakes. They want to count your success stories too, but that's a different day. That's a post.
Okay.
It's going to, based on what they show me, it looks like a post box and it looks like a love letter. Like where you write sort of a love letter to the thing you're hoping to manifest.
Well, that sounds
About
nice.
the joy you have for it and how you already love it, and then you mail it to it and put it in the post box. But so anyway, that's all for here for now. I'm going to chop this up. It'll probably go on privatized, and then I'm going to spend some time editing and chopping it into chakra sections and to the jail box sections and that kind of stuff. Everyone that came, thank you so much for coming. Sending you love and light. My Pantheon, definitely. I've learned a lot about my Pantheon this week. I already knew Frida Kahlo was in my Pantheon, but Edith Wharton introduced herself this week, which I thought was interesting. I don't know as much about her work as I probably should if she's in my Pantheon, but I'll learn. And my sisters are sending their love. One of them really wanted to speak more tonight, but understood the importance of maybe staying quiet for a while. And so anyway, love and light